the world if they have a good relationship. With us for more tonight, retired four-star U.S. Army General Barry McCaffrey, decorated combat veteran of Vietnam, former battlefield commander in the Persian Gulf, now an MSNBC military analyst, and Tolu Olorunnipa, White House reporter for Bloomberg News. He happens to be traveling with the president this week. And Tolu, I'd like to begin with you. Are we any closer to knowing what really happened here? White Houses will often say, well, he or she got out over their skis. They hadn't checked back in with the Home Office. But with this White House, to be candid, a lot of those rules go by the boards.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And especially on the issue of Russia, we have seen the president and his national security team be on very different pages. When the national security folks announced sanctions and announced expulsions of 60 Russian diplomats, the president did not speak a word about it. We did not hear the president say anything, even as his administration was announcing these very major sanctions against Russia. The president has been verbally very soft on Russia, saying he wants to meet with Putin, saying he wants to have a great relationship with Russia, even as his administration has been taking increasing steps to take the punch to Russia and really punish them for what they're doing in Syria and what they're doing on cyber and what they did meddling in not only the U.S. election, but also elections all over the world. And that's exactly what we saw here with Nikki Haley as well. The president and Nikki Haley, as UN ambassador, were on very different pages, and the president sort of pulled the rug out from under her after she made this announcement about sanctions coming. The White House rolled it back and said, actually, no, there will be no announcement of sanctions today, leaving their UN ambassador out to dry and not really explaining why they did that or why she was led to believe, apparently, that there were going to be these sanctions. So it's another clear example of the president and his national security team being on different pages. One other example was the all caps "do not congratulate" when the president ignored the advice of his national security team and congratulated President Putin for his election win just a couple of weeks ago. This is just another example of the president, the White House, the national security team being on very different pages when it comes to Russia and not getting any closer to working out their strategy and making sure that they're putting out a firm and united message when it comes to Russia and the Kremlin.
Hey, General, I think it's safe to say Nikki Haley has worked hard in the job. She has made a lot of fans and admirers and has gained respect at the United Nations. This is not a good look because, as they said during the Chicago convention, the whole world is watching. So tell me what this means isn't happening inside this government that would usually happen.
Well, you know, Brian, I've worked directly in national security issues, and a Republican president, a Democratic president, in and out of other White Houses watching the process at work. The smartest people in government normally are in the National Security Council and the Foreign Service officers that work with them and the JCS team and the CIA. They coordinate all day. We have working group meetings in the White House National Security room. We have deputies meetings. They have classified top secret encrypted phones, red phones on every desk where we can talk to each other. So it's an astonishing incoherence in the process. But it all, you know, I was interested listening to the line about essentially warning the president, don't congratulate Putin. Who needs to warn the president of the United States and not congratulate Putin on a sham election in a country where he's almost running a kleptocracy? You know, the 50 biggest oligarchs, hopefully in the last couple of months, have lost $12 billion. The Russian economy is in shambles. The sanctions are working. So I've never seen anything like it.
Let me take you all the way back to Friday night, the last time you and I spoke, General, and we were talking about the cruise missile strikes in Syria. The president the next day uses the phrase, mission accomplished. What's the danger there?
Well, I mean, look, Secretary Mattis is very thoughtful. General Dunford, the chairman of the JCS, General Votel, the CENTCOM commander, have all been trying to be measured in the way they went about implementing the president's directive to, I think appropriately, send a strong military punishment to the Syrians, don't use chemical weapons, particularly on civilians. Maybe 80 some odd instances, by the way, the Syrians using chemicals on their own people. But at the end of the day, what they, I think, probably wisely decided to do is to send a very measured, moderate strike on the Syrians. These target sets were not crucial to the chemical warfare capability of the Syrians at all. I mean, we're not talking about the need for hundreds of metric tons of sarin gas and artillery shells, such as we saw in the Iran-Iraq war. I'm sure they have ample stocks still concealed in populated areas. We didn't go after their aircraft that deliver the weapons. We didn't go after the command and control. I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying this in no way crippled the Syrian capability.
General Barry McCaffrey, Tallulah Ranipa, thank you, gentlemen, both of you, for engaging in this conversation tonight. It will continue.